management in Six Sigma, and that's why Debbie is here tonight to share some thoughts on that. I'm going to ask John Carlin, OKC chapter representative here tonight, to share some of his some words on ASQ and how students can join this society, and then Debbie's going to discuss her experience at Purina Nestle. So, Dr. Najmi, could you help me with this and explain?
Amen.
Share some words on this.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for coming here and spending time or night with us. I really appreciate Debbie and John to come and talk, basically share their time and experience with us and everyone else who attend this. I will not take that much of your time, I guess, just give a little bit of background information about why we are doing this and the program and stuff like that. So, as you know, we are in a supply chain management program, and at UCO, our supply chain management program has been growing, and thankfully, we are trying to provide an experience for our students and for the business community that makes them, that gives them some skills, that they can use those skills to grow, get a job, get excited about what they do, and enjoy that. So during this program, we are trying to bring a lot of real-life experiences. And that real-life experiences comes from the projects that we bring from the industry, the speakers that we bring from industry, and request that they spend some time after long days at work and long hours to come and sit, share what they have done and all that. And then we also provide some facility tours, so we get our students to go to see what's happening really, and just recently we get a group of our students to a facility here in Jasco to be able to see, okay, what's going on in a distribution center. And we also have been able to put some mentoring programs. As a matter of fact, last spring, we put our very first mentoring program for our students, and the result was phenomenal. We were able to make sure that everyone in that class that was going out, they either get a job or an internship. And as a result of working with students, we bring projects to the class, and if the students are motivated, this is important, if the students are motivated and we work on the projects, we get them to a point that we are able to present them in conferences. We present them and we get the students to the conferences. So last year I got 2 students to Hawaii to present their project on the airport, basically OKC Airport Cargo Expansion Project there, and they presented it and everyone loved it, and they got 2 free spots for Google certificates from a dean of a college in California. She loved the way that they worked on that project. And so these are the things we are trying to get our students as engaged as possible. This picture is the one we got from our mentorship last semester. And so that being said, what we are trying to do is to make sure that all of us together, students, professors, business community, professional associations, are trying to achieve the same goal, put our effort together, and create an environment that is conducive to developing new workforce and for the growth of the current workforce. So, and that's the whole goal and idea behind how we are running the program. I guess you are going through the program. The other guys are done with the program, so I pass it to you. Thank you.
Right, thank you, sir. So basically, we try to close the gap between what is happening in the classroom and the real world out there, to make this closer, and that's why we try to take them to different facilities out there, bring projects to classes. They get a chance to attend conference try to improve the collaboration, students with what is happening out there. And by the way, this conference was April this year, so. You said last year.
Yes. Time flies.
All right, a little bit about this class, the course that I have here in Quality Management and Six Sigma. Try to make it, take a different approach to Six Sigma, different in a way that's with AI being here, try to integrate what they can get, help from AI, and improve what the project that they're working on. And the good thing about this is that the course comes with the micro credentials, and I was just discussing it with John that I had at least 2-3 students emailing me, and that has helped them to get a better job, landing jobs 6 digits, which is interesting that how impact of this could be of getting a good career out there. And I'm sure I'll discuss it with my students throughout the course, and they're interested to apply what they learn in the class to the current position, use it in their current positions. What we do in class, I'm not going to take that much time here. What we do in this course is basically spend around 6 weeks discussing or creating the foundation for the later work, which is going to be Six Sigma. So we go through different concepts related to quality, and there are a few of them here that you can see. Basically discuss the tools in lean, team working, and customer satisfaction and all that. And once they're equipped with these tools, if they become familiar with the quality arena, then we're going to go to the next part, which is going to take around 10 weeks. And what they do in this part of the course is basically applying what we teach during each phase of DMake, and they learn how to apply it in real in a simulation game, which is, I guess, they can better discuss this and how easy or hard that is. They have to sit down and think about it. So they are exposed to different tools again here, as you can see in the define phase. We do cost-benefit analysis using what they are learning in other courses here, and all the way through project charter. And in the measure phase again, this is a yellow belt type of course, but what I have here is basically follows the structure by ASQ, and basically goes through different steps. So I've selected what goes into yellow belt as the tools for this course, and they do all the analysis, data collection, signal level calculation in the second phase, and trying to analyze the roots of the problem and see what is contributing to low quality of the product that they're trying to make. And they learn through different, applying different tools, and step by step, like storytelling, as you're all familiar with, they move in a direction to find the solution. And finally, once they identify the root causes of the problem, they're going to come up with the solution. So at this point, they've already came up with the solution for the problem, and they have to do some analysis. And I've mentioned some of the tools that they have here. And finally, hopefully this week, they're going to finalize the project, and they're going to control it, put what is required, make sure that the project stays at the improved level. And finally, next week, I think after, not next week, the following week, they can present their work, and they're going to enjoy it, and they're going to celebrate the learning. All right, I just want to give you a background or an insight about what is going on, and this this point, I want to ask John Harding to join me here and discuss a few, or share a few words with you guys about what ASQ is doing here in Oklahoma, and hopefully can start a new collaboration with UCO here. So please, let's jump in.
So, my name is John Carlin. I am one of the section leaders for the American Society for Quality here in Oklahoma City. This is my 7th year serving as a section leader. So, American Society for Quality is the oldest and largest quality organization in the world. The only place you won't find us are places like North Korea. But you can go just about anywhere and you're going to find an ASQ section. So, we are dedicated to improving the products and services of organizations everywhere, everything from manufacturing to healthcare. My primary job is in healthcare. I'm a critical care nurse at Children's Hospital, part-time, and then I also do some quality contracting on the side, which is also primarily healthcare. So that's why I have all of these other letters as far as project management, internal auditing, OSHA. I do a lot of internal auditing and streamlining of how we do things, not just what we're doing, which is all lean. And so that's what brought me into ASQ. And I would love for you guys to, at some point, get your foot in the door just like I did, because as a frontline critical care nurse, I kept running into, why are we doing the things this way? There's got to be a better way to do what we're doing. And so I literally typed that into a search engine, and now here I am. So it's been a long journey, but it's been very rewarding. I've met lots of wonderful people and organizations, and I hope that you guys get the same opportunity and experience tonight. So you all received a section card from the American Society for Quality. That QR code will bring you to a website. You can look back at some of our previous events. If you come to our events, we will feed you dinner pro bono. So that's always nice, and it's a great opportunity to not just network with each other, but also with the presenters, the organizations that they represent, and other quality professionals that might be there, like Mr. Meredith Chipman, who's with Continuous Improvement Oklahoma, kind of our sister organization here in Oklahoma City. So, a lot of times it's not just what you know, it's who you know. So please consider getting involved, network, make friends, and make connections. Do you have any questions for me?
How can they join, sir?
So, student membership is very affordable. We were just looking at this. It's like $31 a year to be a student member, and it gives you access to all the meetings and all of the online tools and the entire international network. You just go online, you fill out your membership, and you have access to everything. Webinars, if you want to attend a webinar in Saudi Arabia that they have going on about 5S, you can. You want to come to the local chapter meetings and get your free dinner and talk about supply chain management, you can. So it's very user friendly, and it's a great opportunity.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, I'm gonna pass it over to Debbie Wells. She is with Nestle and Albert Pike. We were talking about the other day about LSU Tigers. And she's been, she has many years of experience. She's going to introduce herself better, and really welcome her here tonight. It's very, we're proud to have her here because huge experience that she brings here. All right, thank you.
So I have another presentation too, when I can start. So I've never spoken to college students before, and it's been a long time since I've been in college. But I do like to know my audience, so I guess, and I want it to be interactive, so I guess I'm kind of asking like, some of you guys are the students? Okay, so are you
Organizational leadership.
Yes, I remember your discussion the other night, and then,
Management information systems.
okay. So I am Debbie Wells, and I work for Nestle Purina Pet Care. Is everybody familiar with that factory? You guys smelled it?
Yeah. For sure.
Okay. So I did graduate from Auburn University with a microbiology degree back in 1996. So we went back to the OU Auburn game in Auburn last year. It was fun until like the third quarter or fourth quarter. And then it wasn't very fun after that. But it was great to be back. I grew up in Alabama. I actually was born in Springfield, Illinois, moved to Alabama when I was 10. So then after I graduated from college, I started with Ralston Purina at the time. And they're out of it, so this was a factory in Atlanta, Georgia. So that was in 1996, and I started as a quality assurance trainee. So basically my whole job was to learn how to potentially become a QA manager. So the first 4 months that I was at the factory, I spent working in every area of the factory. So I was up on rail cars, sampling ingredients, was working in the extruder room, helping process the product, worked in the lab, worked throughout. They really trained me to learn the whole process. And so then went to Flagstaff, Arizona. We have a factory out there, very similar, makes dry products. And I went out there and was promoted to the QA manager, and then came to Oklahoma City in 1999. So I've been here, I think lived here longer than I've lived anywhere else. And then Nestle bought us, so not much changed for us other than we were now owned by the largest food company in the world. So they left us alone as far as changes for a long time because honestly, Ralston Purina had the market on pet food. They had been around forever, and so they actually shut down a couple of Nestle factories and then moved their products into the Purina factories at the time because we were more experienced than they were. So I was in quality management for about 10 years, and then in 2006, I was pretty burnt out, and so we were implementing SAP software into all of our factories. We have like 18 factories throughout the country, both dry, so we make the dry bag product and then the wet products, and then we have litter factories as well. So I joined SAP implementation project. So our corporate office is in St. Louis. I lived in Oklahoma City, but I traveled back and forth to St. Louis a lot, and then traveled around to all of our factories and helping to train and implement the software. Came back to Oklahoma City in 2010 because my daughter was born, and I came back as a manufacturing excellence manager. So we were basically just starting to implement like TPM type practices. So we were really starting to implement 5S and center lines and clean and inspect standards and really moving in that direction. And we had not done anything like that before. And so they were putting manufacturing excellence managers in every factory. And I took Greenbelt training, and so learned how to run to make projects and things like that. And then I went to Atlanta for a short stint, did the same thing. Came back to, we wanted to come back to Oklahoma City. Actually, my husband's from here for family reasons. And so I called my factory manager at the time and that I worked with in Oklahoma City and just said, hey, can I come back? And he said, well, we have a transportation manager position open if you want it. And I said, okay, I'll take it. And so I didn't know what I was doing at all. But I came back and there was no a transportation manager to basically, so I pretty much I went to another factory for a week, kind of learned trial through fire. But it actually worked out really well because I had to depend on my team, and I think, I don't know, it was great. So I did that for 3 years, and the transportation manager at the factory, basically they build the warehouse schedule. So they take all of the incoming orders, they manage the carriers, so we hired all the carriers, the trucking companies that would come and pick up the orders, and then we would build the warehouse schedules. So I did that for 3 years, and then I went back into manufacturing excellence because it's my favorite job by far. I really enjoy problem solving. It's a great skill to have, and it'll help you in any industry and anything you go into. And then, interestingly enough, I had no intention of going back into quality, to be honest. And our QA department in our factory, there was a lot of employee relations issues, and they chose to unionize. And they were the first Nestle, they petitioned to unionize, and they were the first Nestle factory to have a salaried QA group to actually petition to unionize. So it was a big deal. And it was based on employee relations issues. So the fallout from that is our QA manager and our HR manager got fired on the same day, and they asked me to come back. And it's funny because I was literally, really happy in manufacturing excellence, and I remember looking over, at the QA group and all of the stuff that was going on, and I remember just thinking, wow, I'm glad that that's an S show, and I'm glad I'm not over there. And then they asked me to come back, and so then it became my show. But we had to, there's a lot of employee relations issues. I had to be part of building a union contract from scratch, and that was a very interesting process, especially with a very disgruntled employee group. So we spent a year building a union contract for these employees, and we also did a lot of work to try to make it better, like make them happier and improve morale. And the great thing about it was at the end of the year, they petitioned to decertify. So they basically said, okay, we no longer want to be part of a union. And I'm not saying unions are bad, they're not at all, but it just introduces a lot of rules and regulations for that team that we didn't need. If your employee relations are good, you don't need it. So yeah, I've done a lot. I'm not necessarily unhappy to be back into QA. I enjoy it more now. I will say quality has evolved, probably everywhere, but it's really evolved in pet food. Back when I started with the company, we had the market on pet food, and so there wasn't a whole lot of competition. And it's amazing what, since then, mom and pop stores companies have cropped up everywhere. Pets have become family members. They are, basically people's children, and, quality really matters. And when you have a lot of competition, quality becomes a big competitive advantage. And so all of a sudden you have a lot of competition, and now if your food is not good, if it's not the right quality, then people are going to go elsewhere. Any questions so far? So I wasn't really sure what all to prepare. This is our factory kind of a overview. Does everybody know where it's at? Like, have you guys seen it? This is Lincoln Boulevard, but we basically own, this is our perimeter of our property, so it extends all the way out here, and we own this warehouse too. This part right here is the factory, so I would say the factory is this part, and then everything else is warehouse, distribution center, and this is also a warehouse. We are a factory, but we're also a full-service distribution center. So we bring in, obviously, we ship our own product that we produce, but we bring in product from other sister factories and then ship that out to our shipping distribution center, or our network. We also have 2 other off-site warehouses that we release, but our own employees are part of that. Just some overall quality management, what I do on a regular basis, or parts of stuff that I manage. As far as the factory itself, so Oklahoma City is the 2nd largest pet food company in Purina, and I think we're the 2nd largest in the country, because Purina is so big. Davenport, Iowa has the largest factory, and then there's one in Atlanta. Flagstaff, Arizona has one, and then there's Clinton, Iowa, Denver, we have a factory in Denver, and then there's wet factories, can factories spread out across the US as well. So we produce from the raw material all the way to the packaged finished product. So we bring in, all the raw